Well, no, I don't want it on. No.
Ed, could you look and see if you could, because you started the meeting, could you allow me to share my screen?
Is that working for you?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight for our Sonora High School Parent Technology Night. My name is Karen Sells. I'm the principal at Sonora High School, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Ed Pelfrey. I'm the superintendent of the Sonora Union High School District. We appreciate you taking the time to help support your students, and we hope that we can be very useful for you tonight.
And so as we go through tonight, we're going to touch on quite a few different topics. A couple of housekeeping things that we'd like to implement right away is we do want you to ask questions as it goes, but if you could ask questions in the chat, and we'll try to monitor those and make sure that we, in the specific section about that topic, answer those questions as we go. If there's any broad overreaching questions that we haven't answered by the end of the presentation, then we will have a question and answer session at the end. We may ask you for a little bit of clarification about your question. So if you do put a question in the chat, please don't be surprised if we ask you to unmute and clarify if we are not confident that we can answer your question without a little clarification. The very first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to post into the chat a link, and I'm going to ask that everyone fills out this link. So you should see it pop up in the chat, and it should be, you should be able to click on it, and I'll give you about 2 minutes to fill it out. And what we're going to use this information for is to send you all of the links and the web addresses and all of the things that you'll need after this presentation to be able to use the tools. And so either later tonight or tomorrow morning, we will send a document out to you that will have links for everything that we talk about tonight. So it's easy for you to access. So that way you're not worried about trying to write those things down as we go through this process. So please know that'll be coming to you either later tonight or tomorrow morning. And so you don't have to worry about that piece. It will also include a link to this slide presentation as well, so that you'll be able to click back through it if there's something that you're like, I can't remember what that looked like. You'll be able to go back and look at it inside of the presentation. As well, there will also be a link to the video recording of this as well, so you can go back to that if you need.
Hello, can I say we can't hear you? Karen, we can't hear you.
Okay, is it because I'm speaking too softly?
Yeah, we have it on high and we can't hear what you're saying. We can hear you're talking softly, but we can't hear.
Okay, so I will.
You got your microphone on loud?
I do. I will try to be louder. Is this better?
Okay. Is that better?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will try to
on
be.
High.
I'll try to be considerably louder so that everyone can hear me.
Okay.
And so I'll give another minute or so to finish filling out that form. Please make sure that you do that, and you can come back to it and do it at the end as well, and we'll still be able to send you the information. Okay, so tonight we're going to be discussing the following things. We're going to discuss how to maximize ARIES, which is our student information system, and all the tools that ARIES encompasses. We're also going to give you a view of Google Classroom and what it looks like from your students' perspective, and how you can utilize them to log in order to show you the work that they're accomplishing and look at missing assignments or look at feedback from teachers and be able to use that tool as well. We will also talk about GoGuardian, which is a new to us tool that we've been utilizing in a very small capacity, but we're hoping after tonight we'll be able to utilize in a larger capacity with our parents. It gives you a real-time snapshot of anytime a student is logged in to the Sonora High School Chromebook. You can monitor what websites they're accessing, how much time they're spending on something, and we'll go into all of these things in more detail as the night progresses. We also will talk about Hero, which is a positive behavior intervention and support system that we've put into place. And we'll speak to that. And then we'll also talk about additional ways to stay connected with Sonora High School. So we are going to start with the area student information system. So there's two ways that you can connect with this system. You can do it using an app on a smartphone, or you can use it with using the internet and a web browser. With both ways, in order to create an account, you will need an access code that's unique to your son or daughter. And we can give you instructions on how to get that as we get to it. I'm going to show you what both systems look like, one from the app view and one from the web view, so that you can get a feel for which one works best for you, and some common questions we have about both platforms. So we'll start with using the Aries via the app. And so on your smartphone, if you go to the App Store or the Android store and you search for the Aries, and just search for the Aries app, it will pop up and it'll look like this picture on the screen.
So it must have been your volume is down. So try to turn it up. Your volume, guys. Yeah. I mean, like.
Hey, Max, can you mute yourself for me?
Is there a microphone?
Hold on. A little more.
Okay, so I'm having a hard
A
time.
bit more.
There we go, we're good now. All right, so if we look, when you log into the App Store, you're going to purchase the app from this version, and it will look like this.
That's because of there.
Then, once you download the app onto your phone, it'll walk you through a process of finding Sonora High School. There is a couple of different Sonora High Schools, and so it's really important that you get the correct one. And so the first screen that you'll get when you log in is the first one to the left that says, let's find your school. And so then if you type in the search bar, you click on Get Started, type in the search bar, Sonora High School, and then it populates a whole list that looks like the screenshot on the far right. And you'll select Sonora High School with a Sonora Union High School underneath. From there, it'll go through an authentication process with you to connect you to your student.
Yeah, so Karen, we're leaving because we really can't hear. There must be something wrong.
Okay, so what I'll do for you guys is I'll email it to you after. All right, and so once you go through that authentication process, sorry about that, it will take you to a homepage once you've linked it to your student's account. On the homepage, you'll be able to see some basic messages about what's occurring at school for your students. So any messages that teachers pushed out, recent changes in grades, upcoming assignments. If you click across, we're going to kind of progress through the app. At the bottom is how you would maneuver through the app if it was live on your phone. And so the homepage looks like the one that is first on the left. And then if you click grades, it will populate a list of all your students' classes. And then it'll tell you the current grade in those classes. You can select the prior term to look at what they did last semester, or you can change it to the current term to see where they're at for this semester. Once you click on a class, it takes you to a screen that would look like the screenshot to the far right. And if you look, then you can look at individual assignments. And then if there's a missing assignment, you'd be able to look at it and the missing assignments would show up in red. And so that gives you a snapshot of what both the homepage and the grades look like. Now, if you click on the next button across the bottom, it says attendance. When you pull this up, if your child has perfect attendance, you're only going to see things indicated for Wednesdays, because what this app does, it doesn't show you a chronological date by date progression. If there was nothing to report, if the student was present for the entire day, it doesn't populate a day for that. So for example, on the example, Thursday, December 3rd, this student was called in ill. And so it was an all-day absence code that was marked ill. You will see Wednesday populated for all of your students, or for your student. Every Wednesday will be populated, because on Wednesdays, we mark our attendance a little bit different. It's not absent or present. It is either asynchronous complete or asynchronous not complete. And so if you click on the little arrow, it will take you to more details about what that day looks like. So if I had selected Wednesday, December 2nd, it's going to tell me what each of those green dots mean and what the dark circle or the black circle with the white insides means. And so the green circle on Wednesdays means asynchronous complete. The third period, which has just the black circle, it means that there wasn't anything submitted for that period. And so that's what you can kind of look at. If it was an asynchronous not complete, so the student did not do the work for that Wednesday, it would show up as a red circle. If we look, if I had selected Tuesday, November 10th, it would show up and it would show me the two colored dots for Tuesday, November 10th. So third period was marked as an asynchronous complete for that day, and sixth period was marked as unverified, which would mean that the students' attendance, they were not present in class, but it wasn't verified why they were absent. And then the last example would be, because a red dot doesn't always mean something bad. A red dot just means that the student wasn't present for class necessarily. And so here, second period was, and I can't see it because my thing is in the way. Second period was an excused absence. Third period was unverified. When you see an unverified, that's when you want to call our attendance office and verify why your son or daughter was absent from school that day. Absences do have to be cleared within 72 hours. So this parent couldn't go back and clear November 9th. But if you're checking on a regular basis, if you see an unverified, it gives you the opportunity to talk to your son or daughter about where they were for that period, or if you knew that you took them to a doctor's appointment, you would call in and report to our attendance secretary that they were gone for the day. So that's what attendance looks like via the app. We get a lot of questions about it because it is a little bit confusing when you look and you're like, not every day is represented. There's not always something there. I am looking at the chat. The red circles marked asynchronous complete. It should be consistent. The red circles on a Wednesday would mean asynchronous not complete. For this example, I didn't have any asynchronous not complete to show, but if it's a red circle on Wednesday, it should mean asynchronous not complete. But Emily, I'll look into why that's showing up. All right, and then the last, there is, on the example that I'm showing here at the bottom, there is a notifications. For this example, there wasn't anything to show you on that, but some of you have Aries Communicator linked to, if you already have the app, you can link Aries Communicator to that. And if you click on the notifications, it will populate your Aries Communicator webpage. And we'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. The one really useful thing from the app is the ability to click. If you hit the three dots and click more, it gives you the opportunity to go to the full parent portal. And I would recommend, even if you never log in on a desktop or through the internet, I would recommend doing it at least once, because there are some functionality that you can select through the full portal that you can't access through this, but once you select it once, you'll be able to always receive that functionality. And so we'll talk about that coming up right here. So if you're accessing Aries via the internet, it'll be the same process to authenticate your account and connect it to your child. You will need a unique code for that. In the form that you filled out, hopefully, if you mark that you did not have Aries access currently, I can reach out to you with what your code will be so that you can link it if you'd like. And so your login would look like this. And when you log in, it's going to populate a page that we call the dashboard. On the dashboard, it's going to have a whole bunch of different options for you. And we're going to talk about most of these options today. And so we will start with, and this view is if you scroll down on the dashboard, then you can see a short attendance summary and a resource page that has some links to important things on like the daily bulletin, the week ahead, things like that, the school website. One thing that I did want to show you also about the dashboard, it does populate a snapshot of what the class summary is. So it shows you a brief if there's any missing assignments, what the grade in the class is, and things like that. And so then the one thing that I would say, if you typically just use the app, I would recommend logging in with the internet at least one time so that you can set this up for you, because it's a really useful tool that not all of our parents are aware of. And so if on your dashboard, if you go to the top right-hand corner, it'll have your email address that you logged in with. When you click on that, it'll pop down a little pop-up menu. If you select parent notification preferences, it will populate this screen right here, the screenshot to the right where the little arrows go to. And it says, it basically allows you to select to receive a weekly email update about your child. And so you get to pick what day you'd like it on. You get to pick what time you want it. You can ask it to send it to you right now if you'd like to see it right now. But then it sends it to you every week. And so what that report looks like is this right here. So it sends an email to your email address, and it talks about recent attendance, and it tells you which class periods they were present for, which ones on Wednesday they had asynchronous completed, and which ones, if they were ill on a day. It gives you a basic summary of the last set of attendance. It also gives you a summary of recent grades. And so it allows you to see what their grades are currently in class. It tells you if they're missing any assignments, and it gives you a quick link to email any of their teachers if you have questions. It also lets you know of any upcoming assignments that might be due and any assignments that were recently adjusted. So if a teacher put in scores for an assignment, it would populate that to you too. So you could see what scores they were getting on assignments in their classes. And so I feel like this is a really important tool that a lot of parents aren't aware of. I have a child that is in high school as well, and I wasn't aware of it until recently. And I feel like it was something that has been really helpful to stay informed without any effort on my part. It populates an email to me. And so I would recommend that everyone do that, because then you get weekly updates about where your child is as far as attendance and grades. If you go back to the dashboard on Aries, it also allows you to select how you receive communications. And we have found that a lot of people have turned off communications. And so if you look at this screenshot, it'll be on the left-hand side of your dashboard, and it'll say Aries Communications, and you can choose which preferences you want. You can select please don't contact me. You can select general and emergency announcements only, or you can select emergency announcements. And so I would recommend general and emergency announcements, because that way, when we send just an announcement, like for example, we sent out an announcement today reminding everyone of this meeting. And so if you had selected just emergency announcements, you would not have received that announcement because it's not a general announcement. There is a way in Aries to check your preferences. And so if you, across the dashboard, if you look the button that says communications, if you select it, it allows you to select how you want to receive information. I know that sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming with the amount of information we send, but I don't want people to miss any information that we are sending out. And so here you would select how you would like it. And if you don't want phone calls, but you do want text messages or emails, you can select all of those things here. On the internet-based Aries, you can also pull up a more detailed look at your son or daughter's attendance. And so when you pull up the attendance, you can look at it and see the P's mean present. And there's a whole bunch of different codes you might see. If you don't recognize what a code means, oops, sorry, I did not mean to click ahead. There is, down at the bottom, there is a, I'm covering it up right now. There's a button that's highlighted that says legend. If you click on that, it will populate for you what each of those codes mean. And so if you see, okay, what does 1 mean? What does 2 mean? What does an I mean? It populates that for you and outlines what each of those things mean. As you scroll down on that attendance page, it will do a summary for you. And so it will tell you how many of each class period your child has missed, and a whole bunch of other information that when you're interacting with your child is helpful to see what they're doing. And so it's a really helpful tool to help that dialogue of, especially if you're at work and you think your child's attending school all day, but then you see on their attendance that they were marked absent for 5 periods, then you can have that conversation. So it's helpful for parents to know this piece. If we look, the next tab across the dashboard is grades, and there's two different views. I personally don't like this view very much, but it's the initial view that shows up. On the right-hand side, it gives you the choice to either use a card view, or you can toggle it and have the table view. And so you can toggle back and forth between these two. It gives you the same information, it just gives it to you in a different format. From here, if you click on it, it's going to give you a breakdown of what that class would look like. And so same thing here, if you click on details, it will show you a breakdown of what the class looks like. If you click on, so this is an individual class, and you can see all the assignments listed, what the score the students got on those assignments. And you can click, if you wanted to only see missing assignments, you can click that box. Missing assignments do show up with a red box, and you can see that indicated on the screenshot down at the bottom. So that, and if you scroll down, it gives you the percentage breakdown of each category in the class, as well as the total grades, the number of points possible, and a little bit of more detail about what the breakdown of the grade is. The classes page across the top of the dashboard pulls down a link of all your students' classes, and it also gives you hyperlinks to email the teachers. And so if you need to communicate with a teacher, sometimes this is an easier method than going to our website and pulling up our staff list of emails and then clicking on the one that you need, because this gives you direct access to just your child's teachers. All right, so really quickly, I'm going to scroll through. That ended our discussion about Aries, so I'm going to scroll through and make sure that there was not anything in the chat that we missed. Okay, it looks like we're good. And so now we're going to talk about Google Classroom. And so Google Classroom is the platform that we're using at Sonora High School for all of our classes this year. And so teachers are posting all of their work and their virtual meetings and everything that they're doing inside of class, inside of the Google Classroom. And so if we look, the only way for you to see inside the Google Classroom is to have your son or daughter log into their Google Classroom, because there's not a way for us to give you permission to log in on your own, because you have to be enrolled in the class. And so this is a snapshot of when your son or daughter logs in, what it would look like inside the Google Classroom. And so when they log in, you would see, depending on how many classes they have, if your son or daughter is in middle college, they might have less classes. If they're enrolled in leadership or 0 period PE or band, they might have 7 classes as opposed to the traditional 6 that most students have. And so this is the view that you would initially see. If you wanted to see details about an individual class, you would ask the student to select that class specifically. There are a couple of things that I want to show you from this homepage on Google Classroom. If you have your child click to-do list, and so that's up in the top left-hand corner. If you click on to do, it's going to give a list of all the assignments, and you can toggle through all the classes or just one specific class, and it will tell you which assignments have no due dates, which assignments are due this week, which assignments are due next week, which ones are due even farther out. So that gives you a good snapshot of that, and you can also select it for just missing assignments and done assignments too, which we're going to talk about a little bit more here in a second. From this page, if you use this, in the top left-hand corner, there's 3 bars. If you ask your child to go back and click on those 3 bars, it'll take you back to the dashboard, and then you can, oh, I skipped ahead a little bit, I apologize. You can click on assigned. You can, if we go back here, I forgot about this slide, I apologize, and click like the one with no due date. It would populate all the assignments that were assigned with no due date, and you could see what they needed to still accomplish. Then once you've looked at that, then you click on the three bars up in the top left-hand corner. And it would take you back to this page, which is basically the Google Classroom dashboard. If you then click on calendar, it will give you a calendar view of all the assignments for the week. And you can even progress out to further weeks. Because we're so early in the semester, when we're looking here at the number of assignments, you can see like on Tuesday, there was 5 assignments due. From this page, you can click on the assignments and see what the actual assignment was. And it will take you to it, and it'll tell you whether it was completed or not. And you can look at the work, but you do have to be logged into your student's account to see this. Now I'm going to take you, and I'm going to share my screen and take you inside an actual Google Classroom. And so I'm going to swap. Okay, there we go. And so this is an actual Google Classroom that we have set up. And so this, when you click on one of those tiles off the homepage, it will take you to the page, and it always puts you in on the stream. Now on the stream, it has all the assignments or messages that have been posted from the teacher to the class, and sometimes dialogue from students to teachers as well. And so I'll scroll down kind of slowly. I want to show you on the left-hand side where my cursor is. It will tell you what work is upcoming and when it's due. And if I click on view all, it tells everything that's due. There's only one assignment due in this one. And so we'll just go back to, hopefully, to this stream. And so as you scroll down, you can see what's been assigned to your students. Okay. And then you can also see if the teacher like makes an announcement into it. and what comments. Sometimes there's a comment that a student would leave, and so you can see things like that. Probably the most important part of the Google Classroom that you'd want your child to show you is the classwork. And so if I click on classwork, it's going to bring us to a page where you can see all the assignments that have been assigned for this semester. And so if you look, like this one includes stuff from the previous semester. If you see one in blue, it means it has not been turned in. The grayscale ones are turned in. And so you can see this student, which is me, has not turned in all the assignments. It also will show, like, if a teacher makes a note on an assignment, it'll show up with a little dialog box. I think this view is good, but if you click view your work, it gives you a better view of what you're looking at. And so here you can see, okay, this assignment is due tomorrow. It has not been completed yet. This assignment right here was turned in late. If an assignment is missing, it shows up red. An assignment with a check mark means that the teacher has returned it. And then if you look, this comment here, the little dialog box, if you click on it, you'll be able to see what the teacher said. And this piece is really important because sometimes you're going to look if you have your student log into the Google Classroom, you'll look and you'll be like, everything is turned in, we're good. But then you look in the Aries gradebook and you're like, how come there's 5 missing assignments? It said turned in. Sometimes our students have gotten a little savvy about making it look like everything's turned in. So for example, on this one, the teacher commented, please make sure to do the work, not just hit submit. Please let me know if you don't understand how to complete the assignment, I will help you. So what the student did in this circumstance is, and I'll show you, like if I click on this one that's missing, I can pull up the actual assignment, maybe thinking. And then if I am going to do work on it, I click on the assignment, I type my work in, and then I'd hit turn in. But if I'm not being a good student, I will just go like this. And then it turns it in, but then the work is not done. And so that's one of the biggest complaints that I've heard from parents is, okay, it shows that all their work is complete, but there's nothing turned in. Like it's not showing up in the Aries gradebook, it's showing it's a missing assignment. And so having your son or daughter click on the work that they turned in, and then if it's just empty and there's nothing filled out, then it means that they did not do what they needed to do. And so that's a good way for you to verify whether they're actually doing the work and turning it in, or if they're just hitting submit so it doesn't show up as missing. And so now going back to our presentation. So that's an inside view of what Google Classroom looks like from the student's perspective. And it gives you the opportunity to log in and look at what it looks like if you have your son or daughter log in, and so that you can ask them to see things inside. So the next tool that we have is called Go Guardian, and it's really a tool to monitor what your son or daughter is doing online during class time. So anytime that they're logged into a Sonora High School Chromebook, there's a system that we have in place that will monitor what their activity in the internet is. And so as a parent, like if my child tells me, okay, I worked for 2 hours on that assignment and I think I did a great job, and now can I go do whatever I wanted to do because I'm done? This gives me an opportunity to look at something and go, well, it shows that you were only in that document for 2 minutes. So you're not being honest with me. It also gives you the opportunity to know what websites they're looking at outside of class time if they are on the Sonora High School device. And so it's a relatively new tool to us. And so we are exploring how we can make it more functional for parents. There is the ability for parents to restrict when their son or daughter can be on the internet. If that's something that you're interested in, it can restrict specific websites. We're not quite to the point where we have the ability to do that yet, but I'm super excited about what we do have right now, and we hope that soon we'll have the ability to utilize it to its full capacity. And so I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to set up an account. This is something that's not available on a computer or a desktop. It does require a smartphone in order to be able to access it currently. And so you would go to the App Store and search for the Go Guardian Parents app. And several of them come up. And so you're going to want the one that is the darker blue that is circled on this screenshot here. From there, when you download it, it's a pretty simple process of getting connected with your child. The one thing that you have to do is log in with an email address that's associated with your son or daughter in Aries. It won't connect you if you try to log in with an account that is not associated inside of Aries. Once you type it in and hit enter, it sends you a verification email that will look like this. And you either have to open that email on your phone and click verify your email, or you can on the app, you can select login with a PIN and type the PIN that comes in to your email from that. And then it takes you directly in, and this is a screen that you'll see. So you see a summary, you'll see your son or daughter's name, and then it shows you can select, I want to see activity in the last 30 days, the last 14 days, the last 7 days, or just today. And it tells you what the top 5 websites that they visited were. It also tells you, if you scroll down, it shows you what the top 5 documents are, and it names them by name. And so you can see, okay, they're working on Hospital Window by James Dickey. They're working on 6th grade online assignments. It also lets you see what the top 5 apps and extensions are that they're using. And so that could be, sometimes it'll show YouTube, sometimes it'll show GeoGebra, which is a math app, Google Keep, which is an organizational app that kids use sometimes, Google Docs, Google Slides, whatever they're using, it'll show you the top 5 apps that they're utilizing. From here, you can, across the bottom, there's a summary, but then you can also click on activity. When you click on activity, it's going to give you a detailed minute by minute what they were on and how long they were on it. With the exception of some specific things, you can click on it and it will take you to the website that they were on. If it's a website that requires a sign in to go to, like Google Classroom, Google Docs, Zoom meetings, or Google Meetings, it won't take you there. It'll take you to a page that says you must sign in to use. But if it's something besides that, like if it's a YouTube or if they're researching something for a paper, you can click on it and it'll take you to the actual website that they were at, and you'll be able to browse through what they were seeing. It also tells you how long they spent on a specific thing. And so on this screenshot, the 5th thing down at 12:05, or I'm sorry, the 6th thing down at 11:45, and it's probably hard to see on your guys' end, is Zoom. And so that would be a classroom call. And so this student was on Zoom for 21 minutes and 7 seconds with a teacher. It's really useful because sometimes you run into it, no, I'm attending all my classes. And then you can pull this up and go, you didn't attend your class today because I can see your activity. And so I feel like it gives you an extra layer of ability to support your student in making the right choices and to see what they're doing. All right. So you guys have heard a lot of my voice, so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Pelfrey now.
Hi. Hero is a digital tool for positive student support. You may have received emails when your students have been recognized by their teachers for being either respectful or engaged. You may have also seen when we have had in-person instruction, that you've gotten emails that they were symptom checked. That all comes through the Hero app. Can you click for me? Thank you. So what we're looking to do, we're trying to catch students doing the right thing and reward them for it. Schools have a very strong system for penalizing people for doing the wrong thing, but we also want to congratulate them when they do the right thing and let their parents know that they're doing the right thing. We think that that's doing both attracting people to the right thing as well as giving them consequences when they don't. And particularly now, it's a great tool for working with students when they are home and they're not in-person instruction, to incentivize them to do work and hopefully provide another means of motivation. So at Sonora High School, the motto of "We Are Sonora," it guides the behavioral expectations that we expect students to be accountable, respectful, and engaged. So with the Hero program, when a student is recognized as doing one of those things, they can redeem points. So they get Hero points. And the Hero points go in electronically. And those are the points that you're seeing when you get those emails. And you go ahead and click, Karen. And parents are able to, students are able to redeem those points for things they might like. So what we did was we set up an online redemption form that students can come on, and they can get Amazon gift cards, Starbucks cards, Taco Bell cards. Also, we've got local items like gift certificates at El Jardín, GameStop, Deo, the Bagel Bin, Sierra Outdoor Outfitters, Jamba Juice, and Sonora Fly Company. And all of these vendors have worked with us to, these local vendors, to allow us to give gift cards electronically. So even if students are on distance learning, they can, when they have turned in a lot of assignments, when they've arrived at their classes on time, when they've done things like turned on their screens for their teachers, so their teachers know that they're engaged, then teachers are able to give them points and encourage them to do the right thing and to be recognized for it. You as parents are able to track what's going on with Hero. Oh, also addictions. Sorry, that was another store that we were able to work with. So students access Hero points through their computers and also through an app that they can put on their phone. The app also is very useful when they are coming to in-person instruction, because when they check in to be symptom checked, when we take their temperature and we ask them if they have any COVID symptoms, then we scan their ID cards, or we scan the barcode that comes up on their Hero app on their phone. And that way we know that all the students have been symptom checked when they get to school, and also you know that they've arrived at school and been symptom checked. As a parent, you can access on your computer or through an app on your phone your student's Hero account. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a short video here, but first I'm going to tell you we'll be using simple authentication for getting into your Hero account that links to your student's account. And when you're going to be asked to put in your student's birth date, and you'll use an 8-digit birth date, so it's 02, 19, and then a 4-digit year. So this is about a 3-minute and 50-second video on how to create the parent account for Hero.
Hi, welcome to Hero. I'm going to walk you through the steps of creating your Hero parent account. Visit https://access.heropowered.com and select Parent. Since we are creating a new account and have never logged in before, select Create an Account. Type in your first and last name. Type in an email address that will become your username. It's important that you check for spelling errors so that your username is not created with a mistake. Please check with your school if you do not have an email address. Enter a password that you can remember. Then retype your password to confirm. Then select Create User. Step 6 is critical. You have created your account, but now it is very important to link your student's profile. Close the congratulations box and select Add Student. Since we are using simple authentication mode as our primary method and not a secure key, select No for step 7. Type in your student's student ID number correctly. Make sure you do not include any spaces before or after the ID number. Type in your student's birth date as it appears in Hero. In most cases, it will be typed as month/date/year. However, each school might be different, so check with your school if you need further instructions. Now type in your student's last name as it appears in Hero or on their school schedule, including any hyphenated names. You may need to ask your school to confirm if you are unsure of the spelling of your student's last name in Hero or on the school schedule. Then select Add Student. You should now be able to view your student's Hero information from the web. It's possible that the system will log you out automatically and force you to log back in using your newly created credentials. You can now also download the Hero mobile app on your personal mobile device. For now, parents will continue to use the original Hero Students app. Search Hero K-12 in your app store and download the blue Hero Students app. Log into the mobile app with the credentials you created in steps 2 through 4. You can now view your Hero information from your mobile device. You may also receive push notifications through your Hero mobile app if your school has elected to use that form of communication. If you are not able to successfully create your account, please contact your school's Hero administrator. Now that you've created an account, you can log back in anytime on the web or mobile app. If at any time you are not able to log in, please check that your username and password are typed correctly. Wait and try again a few minutes later. If you forget your password, you may select Forgot Your Password. Please check your spam folder if you do not receive an updated password in your regular inbox.
Okay, and so we'll exit this full screen here.
So with Hero, the goal is to catch students doing the right thing and reward them for it and make that an incentive. It's sometimes hard when you're 14 years old to think that doing the work that you're supposed to do in class now, all you have to do is wait 8 years and it's going to pay off. Sometimes it's more useful if you know you're going to get a taco for turning in your work. So in the short run, and that builds that habit and makes people learn to enjoy the things that sometimes take hard work by rewarding them in the short run. And then we build that internal motivation in the long run. One of the things we also do is when students are on campus, we have other incentives. So when students come out of class on breaks, we have snacks available. We will have clothing, spirit clothing that will be available. And we've also used this in the past at other schools for dances and activities so that students can pay for those things with their Hero points. We can also use it to encourage activities for giving students points for attending activities such as dances, band concerts, or drama presentations. Does anybody have any questions about Hero? You can give them to them. Oh, quick question. It went very quickly. Can you repeat the website? Yes, if you go to Access Hero, it will get you there. And if you put in Hero K-12, that will also bring you into, that's a shorter way to do that. We will also be sending this out. So you'll have access to this video in the email we send out to you. Other questions? We have a lot of great kids at Sonora High School, and so often the very best kids get ignored frequently, and kids doing the right thing, it's often ignored. We have a math teacher, Mr. Duvall here, who one time was an offensive tackle for me when I coached football here at Sonora High, and he did a great job all the time. And one time he said to me, "I don't think you like me very much because you don't say anything." I said, "You're always doing the right thing. I don't have to worry about you." And that's something we don't want to do. We want to make sure that we're recognizing students for doing the right thing.
Okay. And then the last portion of tonight, before we get to a question and answer session, are other ways to stay informed about your students' progress and also to stay connected to Sonora High School. And so we have a host of other ways that we utilize to stay connected, and we hope that you'll utilize as well. We do send out a weekly, every Sunday evening, we send out a Wildcat weekly that kind of previews a week or any important information that's coming up. We link a variety of different resources for both parents and students on that. And we also provide links to like site council meetings and like meetings like this or other things that are important for you to know. And so looking at the Wildcat Weekly every Sunday is a good way to stay connected. The week ahead is also a good way to stay connected. In normal conditions and years, the week ahead is chock full of all the different activities that are occurring on our school campus. The most important thing that it has on it right now is what each day looks like as far as whether it's distance learning or whether it's asynchronous learning. If we come back in a hybrid, it would indicate which cohorts were on campus, things like that. It also includes important meetings. And so if there's any parent meetings, if there's board meetings, if there's site council meetings, those are included on the week ahead as well. The attendance notification, we will begin sending it out starting on Monday. We had some glitches. In the past, we used to send home every day. You'd get, if your child missed any periods of the day, you'd get a phone call at the end of the day, and it would tell you that they missed class that day. We had a little issue because we're taking attendance very differently than we have in the past, but we've worked out those kinks. And on Monday, if your son or daughter misses any period of the day, or if they attend a class and then they do not stay for the entire class period or something like that, then you'll get a robocall home that would notify you your son or daughter missed this period today, or they missed 5 periods of the day. So that way that you're informed about what's going on with their attendance at school. The important thing is that you have it selected. If we went back in the slides to where we were talking about Aries communication preferences, it would be important that for attendance that you selected that you'd like to receive it as a phone call or as an email. Otherwise, if you don't have it selected, then it would not go through to you. And so you'd miss that important piece. We also have social media. We have a Facebook, an Instagram, a Twitter, and a Snapchat page. On the resource that I send out either later tonight or tomorrow morning, it will have the school-sponsored names of those social media so that you can find them and join them if social media is your preferred way of communication. We do link the Wildcat Weekly on there, and we also link meetings and other informational things on social media, as well as some activities that go on as well. We also have on our district webpage, and on our school webpage, we have a list of all the emails of all the teachers and staff on campus. And so if you need to connect with someone for concerning anything, you can find. And so on the form that we give you later tonight or tomorrow morning, it will have that link as well as the link to our webpage. We also will have a teacher availability link. And so in these different times, it is important that we stay connected and that our kids stay connected with their teachers. And so especially when they need extra help or they're not understanding a concept or they need to ask a teacher a question. So all of our teachers, we compiled when their office hours are and how students can connect to that. So as both parents and students will be able to look at that link and tell, okay, I know for Spanish, I need to just join the afternoon Google class that everyone can join to get extra help or make up my participation points. Or for PE, they have make up PE on these days. And so it details all that information so that you can get it quickly without having to reach out to someone and wait for a reply. And so those are ways that we're hoping to connect with you and that you can stay informed about your son or daughter's progress as the year goes on. I hope that tonight has been useful for you and that you've learned something new that you didn't know, or if you've already known it, thank you for coming. We would like to take a minute and answer any questions that you guys have. And regarding the presentation, if there's any pieces of it, we can click back through the slides, or if it's just general questions, we are happy to answer questions at this point. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can actually see all of you.
Oh my gosh. I had a question. Since we've already been through this last semester and didn't know, I mean, I knew a little bit about the attendance, but not, how much does that affect them for the future?
So attendance doesn't go on a transcript. It doesn't affect their ability to pass classes in the future. It doesn't, I mean, attendance in the moment is very, very important for success academically. But if their attendance was not great last semester, we started fresh as of Monday. And so working on attendance every day, like the more a student can attend school, whether it's virtual or in person, the better success students have. And so I like to think of it as, let's start today. Like if you come today, that's good. And then we'll build on that for tomorrow. And so as far as long lasting consequences, if they had poor attendance the first semester, it won't have impact on their ability to have success second semester or next year, or get into a college or get a job in the future. It's not something that we report beyond high school.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions?
I know that we went through a lot, particularly Karen went through quite a bit, and it's quite a bit of information. Please know that you, and I'll put in here and we will include on the email going out, you can contact either of us at any time, and we're happy to walk you through any of these tools. We need help usually when we start trying to do something. And I know a lot of you, all of us are looking at this on our computers right now, and it's difficult to do both things at the same time. So please feel free to call us at any time, and we'll get with you as fast as we can to help you through these processes.
All right, and oh, go ahead.
Hi there. I just have a quick question. Across the nation, all the grades are going down. And I'm wondering if there's going to be any grade compensation or anything for that at this time. Do you guys have a plan for that?
We don't have a grade compensation plan. The semester is over. We'll be providing lots of opportunities for students who want to improve their grades or who need to pass a class who couldn't. And we'll be doing that type of thing and setting up opportunities. We already have those, particularly through Apex. And we're really hoping that we'll have the financing to do a very extensive summer school program so that students who need to either raise a grade or make up the credits will have that opportunity there as well, so that we can hopefully catch students up going into the next year.
Thank you. I know it's just been a learning curve for all of us. And I know personally, both of my kids have not performed as they would if the class was open. So.
Yeah, and we really did work, the teachers we've talked about grace, that we have accountability and grace. And one of the challenges of the semester in the spring when COVID started was that students knew there wasn't any consequences for their grades. And that was hard for a lot of people to deal with. As we came into the next semester, we talked about that accountability is important. I love my job, but there are a lot of days I might not get up quite early enough to get here if I didn't have any consequences for not being here. And so I think it's the same with students, and we needed to reinforce that there would be accountability for grades and for the work that was assigned, but also grace for understanding, as you're saying, it's a tough transition to learn this, and it's tough motivationally. So we do understand that. And I'm anxious to actually see how our grades came out, because I know a lot of teachers worked very hard, and our counselors worked very hard, and our paraprofessionals working with kids as the semester was coming on, and even through the Christmas break to get kids to grades that were acceptable for them.
Thank you.
And if you join this meeting late, we did record the entirety of it, and so it will be linked in the document that we send out either later tonight or tomorrow as well. And so we did discuss Aries and Go Guardian, and I'm totally Aries, Go Guardian, Hero. And so there's quite a few things. So any portion of it that you missed, you can click through the slides and go, oh yeah, I want to see that and hear about that, or you can play the recording as well.
And there was also Google Classroom.
Thank you. That was the one I was forgetting. And that's probably the one that we have the least context with because it has to go through students. So
I see Brenda asked a question about will returning to school, students be returning to school soon. We will be, I'll be making a recommendation to the school board at the meeting on Tuesday to return to the hybrid model 2 on Thursday, January 12th. And that's the hybrid model that we started where students would attend, each cohort would attend 2 days a week. So a student would attend either Monday and Thursday or Tuesday and Friday. Now that will be up to the school board to make that decision. And there's definitely reasons not to as well. That's what we're hoping to do now, and we'll see moving forward.
is there any other questions or any other things that we can address or help with or go back and rediscuss if we were too quick on or too anything else? Okay. Well, if not, I really appreciate your guys' time tonight. And like I said earlier, I hope that there was something that you took away from this that helps you as we endeavor into this new semester to support our students. And I appreciate very much how actively involved you are in your students' success here at Sonora High School. So thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a nice evening. We appreciate your time.
And if you haven't, one last thing, if you haven't already, please make sure you fill out that form so that I can send you that document with all the links and everything that came out of this presentation.
I'm going to go ahead and put it down into the bottom of the chat for anybody who wasn't here at the beginning. Oh, hello, I dropped the P. There we go. Thank you. Good evening.